Child, not me talking about I'm finna have a video coming out Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I ain't been on this type of game in a long time, child, a long time. Hey y'all, it's Ashley Bookishrealm. Welcome back to another video, or welcome if you are new here. So today, as I drink my lemonade that is bitter and sweet at the same time, this shit don't really make any sense, but I am here to do the second half of the April releases that I promised y'all when I did the first half of the April releases, because the first half of the April releases was like 30 something books. This one's a little shorter. It's 23, but overall it would have been close to 60 new releases for me to cover in April. And I'm sorry y'all, that was not about to happen, because the editing alone would have been tragic. So even though it is April, if you're looking for the April new releases for the first 2 weeks of April, I will link that up in the card symbol above, because this is covering releases for the week of April 17th and the week of April 24th. These books primarily come out on April 18th and April 25th. If you did not know, if this is your first time watching any of these videos, when I cover new releases, they are usually going to come out on a Tuesday. Every now and then you'll have a book that strays and will come out on a random day of the week, but for the most part, Tuesdays for publishers are big release days. So we're gonna go ahead and jump in. I am covering, and I'm looking down because I have notes. Clearly I couldn't do this off the top of my dome. Like, ain't no way. Anyway, the first book I'm gonna be covering, of course, is April 18th. And I only have 12 titles for April 18th, and then I have the rest of my titles. Please don't ask me to do math. It's not 12, it would be 11. I did math. Oh my gosh. No, but really, math is really hard for me. So the next of the releases will be April 25th. Also, just another note, I cover everything. That's the thing about my channel, and probably a plus and a minus, is that when you come to my channel, there is no specified genre or age category that you're gonna get. I read whatever I can get my hands on. I'm pretty much open to everything. There are caveats to that, but for the most part, I read a little bit of everything. So you're gonna see, you know, adult materials, YA, middle grade, children's materials, picture books, beginner readers. You're gonna see everything from realistic fiction to fantasy. I don't think I have any sci-fi on here. Maybe a little bit of horror, some stuff like that. We'll see. But let's go ahead and jump in. The first one that I have on my list here is Shinji Takahashi, Into the Heart of the Storm. I read Shinji Takahashi in the Mark of the Coatl, I think last year is when it released, and I ended up enjoying it. So this is the second in the series. Obviously, I'm not going to tell you anything about it because second in the series, I don't want to spoil anything for you. After that, I have Marshmallow Martians 1, and this is, I think the title is Show and Smell, and this is about a group of aliens who can't get enough of planet Earth. It just looks cute, okay? Like, honestly, some of these are just cover vibes, to be honest. And I've tried to not do that because cover vibes have gotten me into a lot of trouble lately, but I still haven't learned my lesson. Next, I have Egyptian Lullaby. This is a rich, beautifully layered ode to the great city of Cairo, Egypt, its people and culture, which I actually think I have a copy of that. I think I got sent a copy of that, so I'll be reading that one soon. A Garden in My Hands is gorgeous. I love the cover of this one so much. It's so beautiful and vibrant and just rich. I know the artwork is going to be stunning in that one. This is a touching picture book that celebrates the custom of applying henna for special occasions through a mother and daughter who share family memories and stories. So it's not one that I have read before, and so I'm interested in picking that up. The next one I have is actually one that I do have an arc of that I'm currently reading, and it's Felice and the Wailing Woman. This one is about the 12-year-old daughter of La Llorona, and She's vowing to free her mother and reverse the curses that have plagued the magical town of Tres Leches. If I'm butchering things, you know, feel free always to correct me in my pronunciation of things. Well, the next one I have, which is, listen, I was so shocked by this. Questlove is writing a book. And it was not what I was expecting, but Questlove has a book coming out, and it is called The Rhythm of Time. This is the first in a roll-licking time travel adventure series that's perfect for fans of Amari and the Night Brothers and Tristan Strong Punches a Hole in the Sky. Those two comps are going to draw a lot of people in. Plus, it's Questlove. So, but those two comps alone are going to be a pretty big deal for a lot of people who love Amari and love Tristan Strong. The next one I have is The Cherish. This is for fans of White Smoke, The Hazelwood, and Wilder Girls. And it is an original hypnotizing horror thriller in the vein of Midsommar, as one girl inherits a mysterious house from her estranged grandmother and a letter with sinister instructions. So for all of y'all who love horror, thriller, all those fans out there, this might be the one for you. This next one is one that I am personally excited for. It's I Kick and I Fly. This is a social justice adventure by renowned activist and award-winning documentarian Ruchira Gupta. I Kick and I Fly is an inspiring, hopeful story of triumph about a girl in Bihar, India, who escapes being sold into sex trade when a local hostel owner helps her to understand the value of her body through Kung Fu. So I am very interested in books that look at tough topics, and definitely sex trade is one of them. And I've been looking forward to this one. I know that it's going to be a difficult read, but I've been looking forward to it, if that makes any sense whatsoever. Y'all know how I am when it comes to my difficult reads. The next one I have is No Boy Summer. Which, listen, it's about Lydia and her younger sister by the name of Penny, and they make a pact to avoid boy drama during this one summer. And what ends up happening is that Lydia is looking for a loophole because she's falling for a cute girl. So it's a sapphic, contemporary, probably romance. Probably with some ups and downs to it. If I know anything about what YA typically does, probably gonna have a lot of ups and downs to it. Next one we have is Girl Taking Over, a Lois Lane story. This is clearly about Lois Lane, and it focuses on her ability to open up herself to friendship, romance, and being vulnerable in order to get the future that's right for her. You know what? Honestly, I know this is kind of like a segue. I don't know much about Lois Lane as a comic book character, so I put this one on this list because I want to start reading more, basically because I don't read much from Superman, which is so wild because it's like, oh, well, I love DC, but I never really hyperfixate on Metropolis City, Superman, and that entire community. I'm very much so a Gotham girl. So I read a lot about Catwoman, Batman, Harley Quinn, like that whole crew that's in Gotham City, but I don't read much about Superman and his family. Not that I haven't read anything, but I haven't read a lot, and so I'm not as familiar with Lois Lane as a character, and so I put this one on here because I'm like, I think this one is going to be an interesting one for me to check out. After that, I have Alondra. This is a contemporary YA debut from award-winning playwright Gina Femia. Please tell me if I'm saying their name wrong. Alondra is a coming-of-age story of friendship and romance about a bisexual teen and her friends wrestling their way through the summer, sometimes on the playgrounds of Coney Island and sometimes with their feelings and at home. I'm a huge fan of any coming-of-age stories at this point. I love a good coming-of-age story. This next one is a nonfiction picture book, biographical, that I am very, very excited for, and this is Chef Edna, Queen of Southern Cooking. It's a warm and inviting picture book portrait of African-American culinary legend Edna Lewis, who brought Southern cooking to the masses. I am, as someone who, I was not born in the South, but I have spent the majority of my life living in the South, I think this one kind of has me intrigued. After that, I have Who Will Win. This is an interesting one because I have been digging into more beginner readers, as y'all may have seen through some of the wrap-ups that I've been doing lately, And this is a beginner reader that has Native American representation in it, and it is perfect for kindergartners and first graders. And it's about a bear and turtle, and they're racing each other, and the whole point of it is who's going to win the race. I don't expect, of course, a lot coming from this because it is targeted. Not a lot means like it's not a good book, but in terms of how much text is going to be included in this, because it is a beginner reader targeted at kindergartners and first graders, so you're looking at ages 5 to 6. But this is my first time, and I don't know if anyone else has seen this, but this is my first time seeing a beginner reader that has had Native and or Indigenous representation in it. And I love to see that, because even when you look at the reports of representation in books through publishing now, Native American and Indigenous representation is still one of the lowest. And I think if not one of the lowest, it may be the lowest in terms of characters that are Native or Indigenous. And it breaks my heart, but I'm so glad that publishers are picking up more titles and are pushing them out for libraries to purchase. This one I have definitely a lot of content warnings for this one. It does have featuring ED, so just be mindful of that. It's called Hungry Ghost. This is a young adult graphic novel about a individual that is dealing with eating disorders. So it covers that, it covers family dynamics, and it discusses their journey to recovery and self-love. I've been wanting to read that one for a minute. This next one I'm probably gonna say wrong, so if someone knows the correct terminology, please feel free to correct me. It is The Yellow Isle Dye. It's a debut picture book about a little girl who connects to her Vietnamese heritage when she accidentally rips her late grandmother's Isle dye. I know I'm saying that wrong. Vietnamese is such a beautiful and poetic language, and I'm always absolutely fascinated and mind blown whenever I get to hear like Vietnamese, especially like when I'm listening to an audiobook and there are parts of it in Vietnamese. But pronunciation for me is so difficult. So if you know how to say that correctly, and best believe y'all, I do listen to pronunciation of things, but a lot of times I still struggle with it. So please, like I said before, please feel free to correct me. I have another level reader on this one that is A World of Dancers. And this one is a nonfiction level reader that explores the wide world of dancers and the history and cultures associated with each beautiful art form. They actually have breathtaking photographs in this. I love picture books and level readers or beginner readers that have real photography in them. They're absolutely gorgeous. And they're photographs of global performers from all over the world. And listen, if you have a kid that loves dance, this is definitely one to check out. After that, for the next titles, I think it's a picture book. Yeah, it's another picture book, and it's Spicy Spicy Hot. And this is a heartwarming and humorous story about one girl determined to embrace the spice of sambal in order to connect with her grandmother and heritage. Ghosts, Toast, and Other Hazards. This is a middle grade novel about a girl who must overcome her worries to find the truth behind her town's urban legend. After that, I have another sequel, and this is Winnie Zhang Vanquishes a King. I can't tell you anything about this because it is a sequel. Unfortunately, I read the first book in the series last year and enjoyed it. And so if you're interested, of course, pick up that first book and then look into this second book. The next one I have is one that I think a lot of people have heard of at this point, and it is The Self-Same Metal. This is a YA fantasy debut, which is being comped as perfect for fans of Holly Black, which I read The Cruel Prince this year and I have liked it, and Justina Ireland. And it's about a black girl who's a sword expert who's fighting a Fey uprising in Shakespearean London. And I just can't, not the setting that I would have anticipated. I have refrained from looking at reviews for right now, but I am excited to pick that one up. And then we have Harley Quinn Ravenous, which is also a sequel. This is part of the DC Icon line, which is YA books that are being written by different authors. So this is the same line that where you found like Catwoman, Soul Stealer, Wonder Woman, was it Warbreaker or something like that, the Batman book that Marie Lu ended up doing, the Superman book, like all of these are in the DC Icon series. Harley Quinn, I think it's getting more than one book, which I'm not mad at. Because I read the first Harley Quinn book and really enjoyed it more than what I thought I was going to enjoy it. So this is a follow-up. And I almost don't want to say anything about it because, except that Harley Quinn's life is getting more chaotic, and that this is the second in a trilogy. But if you haven't picked up, I don't know if I would recommend all of the DC Icon books, because I don't know, that would be a nice reading vlog. Not to have on here, but to have on my comic book channel. A comic book reader reads the DC Icon series. Huh. See? Sometimes shooting videos, oh my gosh. Sometimes shooting videos leads to a little bit of inspiration. I'm digging it. I love that. Okay. But yes, if you like Harley Quinn, I would recommend checking out the DC Icon versions of her narrative, because it's good. It was actually good. And I'm a huge Harley Quinn fan, so I was very, very nervous about reading it, but I think they did my girl good. The next one that I have is A Borderless, and this is about someone who is caught in the crosshairs of gang violence. It's a teen girl, and then her mother, because of this, they set off on a journey from Guatemala City to the US border, which where is my book about that? Oh gosh. We Are Not From Here by Jenny Torres Sanchez. I can't remember her name right now, but it kind of gives me those vibes. And if it's anything like that, I know my heart's going to be broken. I know it's going to destroy me completely. And the last one that I have is Shannon in the Spotlight, which I'm excited for this one for a number of reasons. But this follows Shannon, who accidentally lands a lead role. Didn't have any intention, accidentally lands a lead role in the summer musical, and she realizes she has bigger things to worry about than stage fright. This is a contemporary middle grade novel. It's about strained friendships, positive power of theater, which I think I have a theater kid on my hands. My child is giving me very much so like theater may be her thing, and I'm not mad about that. And it also highlights the realities of being a tween with OCD, which I'm excited about that, seeing OCD rep, not just in a middle grade book, but it's specifically focusing on a tween, which is great, because I feel like we see a lot of OCD representation, not necessarily a lot, but we see OCD representation more often in young adult as opposed to a middle grade that specifically focuses on a tween. So I'm happy about that. All right, y'all. So those are the second half of the April releases. If you are interested in reading any of these titles, please let me know in the comment box down below. As always, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content from me, click the subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications. If you're looking for ways to follow me on social media, support the channel via Patreon, the links will be down in the description box below, and I'll be back with another video soon.